Hello everyone. Some of you may know, I recently released a new Halo Machinima called Teach Me How to Super Bounce, and a lot of you have been asking how I did some of the stuff, more specifically the 360 degree pan shot, which I'm actually going to get to last. I'm going to go over a lot of other stuff first. First off, some of you were asking how I got the characters to have no weapon, and that's actually a game type you can get from Bungie.net. So what you do goes up to stats and then Halo Reach stats, and of course it'll go slow when I'm start recording. There's a little link right here called file search. Click that and go to game types. Make sure you click all time, and in the search box type something like weaponless. I think you'll get all of the game types with that. Click search, and there's a small number like free running. I've used that one, and no weapons, that's the one I used for the movie. So use that game type and your Spartan will have no weapon at the start of the game. It doesn't work for elites, they'll still have weapons. Yeah, there's only 5 of them in this list. But yeah, and the way I got the arms to lower is the same way that you lower your weapon, which is you hold the switch grenade, reload, you click right on the thumbstick. No, you click on the right thumbstick and down on the D-pad. You hold those for about 3 seconds, and your arms will lower, or your weapon if you have a weapon. So for the default controls, that would be B, X, click the right thumbstick and press down on the D-pad. So you hold all 4 of those for 3 seconds. And now, some of you were curious about the helmet voice. It's actually really simple. I did it in Premiere, but you can do it in Sony Vegas, even Audacity, free audio program. But I'll show you in Premiere. I used the high pass audio effect and set it to around 700 hertz. So I'll turn that off. I'll show you what it sounds like without it. This is glitching. There's no room for logic. Alright, that's normal. And then turn the high pass on. This is glitching. There's no room for logic. So yeah, that's basically what I did. It's pretty easy, simple. It works. Alright, next I want to talk about the noob character, the yellow guy. When he lands, right before he does the super bounce, it's pretty much, I took a picture of me jumping as the yellow Spartan. I cut him out, and in After Effects I used the puppet tool, which is right up here. It's like this little pin or whatever, and what I can do is I can plot these little points on his body and pretty much morph that image. So I gave it a little subtle animation of him crouching as he lands. So he comes down, little subtle thing. I guess it's pretty good. But yeah, that's what it basically does. It just morphs the image. That's how I did that. And the cracking ground. Let's see, the ground cracks. That's basically, I took a section of the image, so that would be the floor there, and I use the pixel poly effect. Oh, right here, and that will basically break it up into these polygons or triangles or squares, and you can make them spread out, stuff like that. And there's gravity there, and they spin too, and they have a 3D spin to them. So I had 3 or 4 of those. I think the 4th one I tinted it black, and that made that the shadow. Next, the UNSC Savannah, which I had the noob hit, and then the Savannah starts tilting and floating in space. See if I can find that. Hold on. That is right. So many compositions. So little time. Where is it? Oh, I know where it is. Duh. Alright, sorry for that. So basically what this is I went on Long Night of Solace and I got the camera out to the very edge, and then I took a video of the actual savannah coming in and docking, but then I just used that to get a clean plate of the background, so the savannah would come in right here and then start going to here. So I had to use this part of the image when the savannah is over here, and then this part of the image when the savannah is over here, and then put those two together to get a clean background. And then I cut out a picture of the savannah, so that's what's actually animated. And you can see the hope you can see the stars moving in the background. Those are fake. I use the After Effects Particle World CC Particle World plugin to add those stars in, so it wasn't just a still image. And I actually added blinking red lights on the savannah too. So that was just like a solid that I masked out. I put little masks over where the lights are and just changed the opacity over and over and over and over and over. And then I parented it to the ship, so that's why it follows. And then of course I just changed the rotation when the Spartan hits. And the Spartan's actually a picture screenshot that I took, which is right here. Oh, right here. To get this screenshot, it's the same thing on Long Night of Solace. Is that right? Long Night of Solace? Yeah. I crashed into the base or whatever, and this is me floating in space, so that's how I got that screenshot. Cut him out. Same thing as when the noob's landing. I used the puppet tool to animate him. Try to zoom in here. Gonna get really pixely. The Spartan. Oh, I think I have him in a... Yeah, he's gonna be right here. Alright. He's got the puppet tool on him, so these little points. Same thing as before. So that's how I animated him. And when he rotates, I didn't use the puppet tool for that, because that'd be too much work. So as he comes up here, I'm rotating him as I'm also using the puppet tool to change his leg positions and arm positions and head. And you can see his arms and legs coming out too as he's falling. Then I just added rotation. So not that rotation. Rotation. Yeah, I added rotation here. Alright, so that's basically that. And next is the 360 pan shot. Okay. What I did to do this is I put the camera in one position on the map, so it was like on the street next to the bridge, and I zoomed in. That's very important, so I would get as least amount of warp in the image as possible. So I would film one section of the map at once with the camera not moving. Film that. So I think this would be one section. Film that for like 10 seconds or more, however much I need, and then I'd slowly, carefully turn the camera to the left, and then film the next section I need, making sure to overlap part of the last image with the next, so I could stitch them together in After Effects. And then after I got each section filmed with each action of the Spartan doing, like running into the wall or falling or driving the mongoose, running away, that all that stuff. I made this really long composition, so I would stitch them all together in this big line, and then I would have them pop in at the appropriate time. So yeah, they're all popping in. See, that's halfway. And then after I had all the stuff put together, I would take the whole composition and put it in a normal sized one, and then pretty much just animate it going from left to right, making sure that every single shot popped in at the right time, so there was no like spaces or anything showing. It was kind of difficult to time it, but it took me like 5 days to do this whole shot, so really meticulous. Alright, now I'm going to go to each individual one and like talk about the different effects that I did. So, let's see. Some of them I won't go through because they're pretty basic. Like the mongoose, the time-traveling mongoose that goes up and like the smoke and stuff comes in. That's just a smoke element, like a video of some smoke that I composited over it, and some sparks too. Let's see, the falling bridge, that's pretty basic also. It was just I took a screenshot of the bridge and cut the crane beam, and cut it out and just animated it falling. It's gonna be really hard for me to find it. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay, so that's a picture of the crane, and now I just animate it falling down. And the same thing with the time traveling. I had a smoke element for all the dirt and just tinted it brown. He's actually falling in here, him hitting a wall. I did there's actually a gravity lift or a man cannon that's pushing him into the wall. That's how he dies. The arrows are CC Particle World again, but as I made a little image of an arrow in Photoshop and replaced that with the particles, and they stick in the ground. So I set the particle floor property or whatever to glue, and the particles just stick to the virtual floor in the particle plugin. The next one. Oh, okay. The health packs. No, you can't have that many health packs in Forge that I know of. Maybe you can. I didn't try, but how I did this was I took one health pack in Forge and I like rotated it a bunch of times, and then I took like around like 14 screenshots of it in different positions, cut them out, and then I think I put them. Oh yeah, I had a bunch of particle worlds that I had to make a particle world for each individual picture of the health pack, but not the like you can see this one and this one are the same, so those are both in the same particle world, because you can't have more than one different particle picture in the same plugin. So I had to duplicate it for each picture, and then just have the particles fall and then stop falling. So that's how I did that. And let's see the next one. Okay, the giant, I used my blue screen stage map that I made a while back. You guys, if you want that, you can go to bungie.net and download it. Same place. Oops. Reach stats. Oh yeah. Okay. File search. Game types. No, not get custom maps. Click all time. Search blue screen. It's called blue screen stage, but if you search that, it won't come up. I don't know why. So just search blue screen, and it's right here. And it's pretty much like a big stage that has all blue walls. It's pretty big. And I just filmed my character in front of that. And then I did a chroma keyed out the blue. And then he's pretty much just walking away. And then I masked out all these walls and the Spartan too. So he's actually walking behind him. Okay, for the Fusroda, same thing. I filmed the Spartan flying away on the blue screen. So a friend of mine and I went into Forge and then hit character with a box. That's him flying away, and he actually does hit the wall. He hits the wall of the stage. So I left that in. I made sure that he actually hits the wall in pretty much the same position you would hit this back wall on Breakneck. And then the this effect is basically like a noise, a fractal noise that I used two masks, circles, one on the outside and one on the inside to make that ring. And then I added some distortion too, and then some smoke elements also. That's pretty much of that. For the sword, for joining the dark side, where his sword turns red, it's pretty simple also. Not too much work to do there. It's let's see. I have so many layers in this. It was crazy. And some of these layers are compositions, so there's layers in those. Alright, anyways. If I can find it. Which one is it? I think it's this one. Okay, yeah. It's just a hue saturation. Okay, the sword's blue. So I set this to blues. And then you take this little range slider thing. And you select the range of the blue that's really similar to the sword and also the light. And then what I do is change the hue to any color that I want. So I have a blue sword, green sword, orange sword, red sword, you know, all the different colors. Rainbow sword. Anyways, that's that. For the over 9,000 explodey effect, it's basically just the Spartan, filmed him there standing, and then I had the character like walk off screen so I can get a clean plate of the background. And what I did to have him explode, it's pretty gnarly. Let me back up a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty gross right there. Alright, what I did is there's the blood is some blood footage that I had that I composited on there, and also the blood on the walls. And to get a good, like, for the blood to like look good on the walls, I set it to I think it was hard light or something. Maybe that's not it. I don't remember. I think it was hard light. Anyways, and there's also the sparks there. Those are also some footage that I use to get them like to break into pieces. I use the pixel poly effect again, same thing as I did with the cracking ground. But there's some rough edges on these, so what I did was I used you go to effect and is it stylize? Yeah. And then roughen edges, and it will anywhere where there's transparency, it'll roughen the edges. And there's different settings. You can make it rougher, not rougher, or like wavy kind of edges and stuff. That just makes it more organic, I guess, instead of the straight edges. Also, that might fit because it's a game, polygons, whatever. But anyways, for the red is. So I have multiple layers of those. So for the outside, I left it yellow. I left it his armor color, and then below that, there's like two different layers where I tinted it red, so it looks like his muscles and junk all flew out. So that's pretty much how I did that. I added this orange rings inside of his body to look like he burned, and have him fade away, so like it's cooling off. And then I added the smoke. It's the same thing, another composited smoke like clip. Alright, next, the Ghost of Lockout effect is actually a part of weaponless. If you crouch without a weapon, there's no animation for that specifically, so it just does the normal, it's probably the DMR animation where he's holding DMR, but he doesn't actually have it, so it's invisible. So when you do that, he'll just stay like that. He'll just slide around. So that's pretty simple. Warthog, it's all in-game. Except for the sound effects, anyways. Okay, the Kraken door, I know some of you were kind of puzzled about that. That is also on my blue screen stage. Now, some of you were thinking that, but you weren't sure because of the shadow. That is a fake shadow. That is just the Elite tinted black and then put on the ground as a 3D layer. So I made a 3D layer and then I turned it, put it on the ground, kind of placed it where I would think that the light would make the shadow. So, and the Elite's walking across the blue screen. I filmed it in a way where I'd know how he was going to walk out of this door and make it look like semi-real, I guess. The door is simple. I actually took a picture of a door flat, like straight on, and then I moved it in 3D space so it kind of matches the angle. So it's not the same door that was in the original shot. Same with the floor and the street that's extending into the space. I took a picture or screenshot of the road looking down, and then same thing, I warped it, but I think I used the corner pin, so I can grab the corners of the image and pull them down and kind of make a fake perspective kind of thing. And then I added a mask around the edges so it kind of looks like it's fading away. I set a feather, and then I masked out these poles so that everything's going behind. You can kind of see where the foot and the gravity hammer are kind of transparent because the chroma key didn't work too well on that part. But anything after that, kind of, yeah, see, starting to do right there too. Some of you were kind of puzzled because the lights on his jaw and his legs were still there. I actually masked those out manually. So yeah, the using chroma key, those did get affected, so I had to put a mask around those. All right, now for the portal. See, okay. For this, that's footage from I had the character jumping off the beam, the one that falls, and so that's where he's jumping from. So I animated this portal. I used a fractal noise with like a vector blur to make it kind of like a electric-y sort of thing. And I multiplied or duplicated that a few times and changed the settings and stuff. I added some particle world for some of the little particles. And so the hole is just a mask. And I put the footage behind it. When he jumps through, I think it's right here. I'm going to find it. Sorry, it's taking long to render. So much stuff going on. Well, anyways, as we're waiting, this up right here is I drew it with like a charcoal pencil, scanned it in, and then just put it on the, I think it was a 3D layer, and then just put it over it. Okay, he jumps out. When he jumps out, I actually duplicated the layer of the footage that's behind, and then I used the roto brush tool to roto him out. It took longer than I wanted it to, but I had to do it. I didn't want to use a mask because that was going to take longer. So as soon as he comes to like where the portal would be, I started rotoing him till he goes down. Let me set this to half. Might not take as long. Okay. I don't think I have to go through this. You guys get the idea. But the sparks are another clip that I composited on. And then same thing with the up on the box. Cake is a lie. It's on the wall right there. And what's good about this, how I filmed everything stable, is I didn't have to motion track anything. So it made it much easier. Way easier than it would have been if I had to move everything that I was editing. So yeah, that's basically that. Is there anything else? I don't think so. I think that's it. Alright, hope you guys liked this video, and I hope I answered at least most of your questions. If you have any more questions, please feel free to leave it in the comments. I will try to answer it. Look out for more machinimas from me. And thanks for watching.